change it, girl, just you and me.
It's Sway in the Morning, broadcasting live from Minneapolis on Shade 45.
Yeah, Minneapolis, we are here. Make some noise, Minneapolis! Well, you know what I do want to do is bring up somebody who's really been active in the community for years, somebody who's been in the front line, who's been really an advocate for economic development within this community, and she came here just to say hi and speak. Please give it up for Wintana Melekin. There you go. How you doing?
How's everybody doing?
Wintana, how do you say your last name correctly? Say your last name correctly.
Yep. It's Wintana Melekin.
Melekin.
Yeah, Melekin.
Okay,
yep.
and your family's from Eritrea, right?
Yes.
Okay, how long you been in this? Were you born there or born here?
So I was born in Sudan because there was a civil war. Actually, yesterday was Eritrean Independence Day, so shout out Tiffany Haddish, Nipsey Hussle, me.
Yes, you, yourself. There was more of you out here than just the three of you. But I love how you put yourself right there with Tiffany and Nipsey Hussle.
Right.
You've been very active in the community here, and especially in St. Paul, correct?
Yep.
Why has that been important to you, and what kind of triggered that?
Yeah, so I moved to the United States when I was 3 years old. I moved to the east side of St. Paul. I also do a lot of work in North Minneapolis. Those are the two parts of the state that are the most underdeveloped, also the two parts of the states that have the most people of color. And so I took it upon myself to not only work on public policy to make sure that we do things like raise the minimum wage to 15, which we did in Minneapolis, working on raising it to 15 in St. Paul. But also I took it a step further and started a company called Woke Money, which is a people of color business directory. So we're working on getting people of color opportunities to get funding so they can open up their businesses. I opened up a sneaker shop actually right down the street called Sneaker Clinic. It's a shoe dry cleaner. It's 100% black owned. Yep. And then I'm also working on opening up Mama's Kitchen, which is a soul food restaurant on the east side of St. Paul, also 100% black owned. And so I'm taking my work with policy and not only making them, fund our bills and make our laws happen, but also fund our work and fund our entrepreneurship. Like, no one has more ambition than black folks, no lie.
Yeah.
So
if you can explain, we hear a lot of people saying support black businesses or black businesses that have people of color that owns it. What is the biggest issue? Is it that people don't know that they exist, or people are just more comfortable supporting known brands? What's the biggest issue with supporting black businesses?
I think it's two-pronged. Very often our own folks will say something like, oh, well, they're not open on time or this or that. But lots of businesses are like that. But there's a pre-established racism, in all honesty, that people literally talk down and put down businesses that are owned by people of color. We make one mistake, and it's the mistake of the whole race.
Right.
When really, that doesn't happen to Target. I've been to Target. They've been out of shampoo. It happens. Like, no one gets upset. And so partly is that. The second part is that we need to create policies that make it easier for us to run. The amount of effort it takes to get a liquor license, the amount of effort it takes to make sure you have the right type of trash and composting, and cities are looking out, giving us tickets and prosecuting us for just existing, because when we own our own stuff, that's revolutionary. And so those two-pronged approaches, those are the racism of every day, people not wanting to shop with us, but also the systemic systems that prevent us from being able to participate.
Wintana Melekin.
Yes.
Okay, she's here. Go ahead,
I
Tracy.
appreciate you, Wintana.
Thank you.
Yeah, give it up for her. So, since we're in the era of entrepreneurship, do you mind, for anyone out there that may be wanting to start a business, initially you just think of the product, but can you give people a sense of the three first things they need to do on the back end?
Yeah, the first thing people always say they want to do is build a website. They want to go buy an office. That's step 50.
Right.
Step 1 is to write a business plan and literally take your time to talk about what are my numbers. You can go and take an Excel spreadsheet or a sheet of paper and run your numbers. What does it take for me to be feasible? And start with that. People want to invest thousands of dollars into a brand or some product, but it's you got to start with what can I actually do with the amount of money I have right now? And then the second step is go find resources, find folks that can support you. I do this project with people when small businesses say they want to work with me. I say, tell me who are your 5 people that will be there for you to the very end, won't give up with you. If you fall, they'll stand with you. Show me the 10 people who will buy your products immediately, and then show me the 50 people that will share your stuff. And when you have that list of people, then you can start talking about branding and things like that. But if you don't have a base and you don't have a foundation of how you're going to spend your money, it's not gonna work.
Makes sense.
Okay, and then
killing it. She killing it.
Damn,
Yeah.
Wintana Melekin, man, come on, this is
Boss
it.
babe, let's go.
And that's for anybody. No matter you're black, white, or whatever. This is how you get proper steps to starting a business. But you talk about policy a lot, and a lot of us are really apathetic when it comes to our political system. Folks don't understand how important policy is. How does policy get passed through? What do you have to do? You have to vote, right?
Very much.
Okay, talk about that.
Yeah. So for the last 7 years, I was working on public policy and doing voter turnout. I recently just transitioned into economic development, and voter turnout in North Minneapolis and East St. Paul is like literally some of the lowest in the state. In Minnesota, 1 in 4 black men can't vote because of a law we have, felony probation. If you're on felony probation, you can't vote. Minnesota has the longest probation periods in the entire country.
Wow.
It's deeply, you wouldn't have guessed it. It's deeply hindering our political power here. So step 1 is like not just voting, but voting for people that you know that want to restore voting rights to all black people. That's key. That's super key. A second part is not just like voting on election day, but getting other people to come out and vote with you. A lot of people of color are running for office in Minnesota. A lot of people of color are starting to win seats here, but they don't just win it casually. It's not just about showing up, the first Tuesday of election month in November, but it's about volunteering for candidates, about giving money to candidates. It's just voting is like step 1 in this really big platform we have to really changing the demographics of this entire state. There's no reason that every single neighborhood in Minneapolis is not represented by a person of color. It's like actually unacceptable. And the way that changes is when folks like you literally show up to vote, donate to candidates, and like knock on doors for them.
All right, that's what's up. And now we don't just have people of color here. We have folks who are Caucasian. Well, I don't even like saying the Caucasian. That's the Appalachians, right?
Fair.
Okay. Of other ethnicities, let's get a mic on somebody else's voice right here. Sam, right here. Sam, what are your thoughts about just even the?
Can I come up on stage, Sway?
Come on, Sam. Give him a big round of applause. Damn, Sam, you just gonna jump on stage? We ain't got insurance for that.
Speak your piece, Sam.
But it just
All right.
the harmony here between.
So, Sway.
Yes, talk to us.
All right. So this is a hot button issue, but I think it's something that I gotta say while I'm here.
Yeah.
So I work with the homeless, but I also work in the idea of harm reduction.
Yes.
Everybody needs to start carrying Narcan.
Yeah.
All the drugs we have here are tainted with, even the meth, the coke, everything's tainted with fentanyl. People are dying. So get trained in Narcan and how to do it.
Yeah.
But I have a question.
What is Narcan?
Yeah.
So
please.
Narcan is an anti-overdose drug.
Okay.
That when you got someone that's overdosing on fentanyl, it basically will take the fentanyl attaches to some shit in the brain. I'm not a scientist and stuff.
Okay.
But it goes on the receptors, and when you inject it, it actually pulls the fentanyl molecules off the brain, and then shit, it's dope.
Okay.
Yeah. But
very well put there, Sam. All right, I appreciate you.
what's your thoughts on homelessness, Sway?
I'm from Oakland, California, and I've seen homelessness increase. I feel like being that we're in this capitalistic country, I think people put profitable gain over humanity a lot. And I feel like, and this is the biggest, most successful industrialized nation in the world, and the fact that we even have homeless people, to me, is a travesty.
It's baffling.
It's baffling to me, and I know that monies are being diverted in different areas except for that. And I think it's a shame that people are homeless in 2018. I don't think, you see all the development. There's probably a lot of development happening in this Twin City area. I see a lot of that development happening in Oakland and New York City, but I still see more and more numbers of people who are homeless. So to eradicate homelessness is something we speak on a lot on the show. For the life for me don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really one of those things. The first thing is everyone's one paycheck away from being homeless, really.
Yeah.
And I think that just really why it goes on is because there's continued systems and stigma against people.
Yeah.
People of color are overrepresented in this community. And I don't know, it's just people start getting stuck in the system, and it's so hard to get out once you're in.
Once you're in, yeah.
Once you're in, and the system is difficult to navigate as it is, being a person that's housed. But if you're homeless, the system is just way more fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you always end your sentence with a punch. But yeah, man, give Sam a round of applause,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you,
I just
Sam.
like to see just I'm a firm believer in caring as much for your fellow person as you do for yourself, and so that's why I appreciate what you're doing, Wintana, and you're trying to even the scale of equality and not just opportunity, but that end result as well for people of all shades of skin, especially people of color, because of what we fight against. What's going on in terms of the criminal justice system out here? Have we seen any changes, in recent years? It's been national news, some of the things we're seeing that's happening in the Twin Cities. What is your perspective on it?
So there are many large cases around police brutality that happen in Minnesota. So we've heard of Jamar Clark. Many of us occupied a police station for 18 days. A week before he was killed, he was in my office. We know about Philando Castile. He went to high school with me. We know about Cordell, who lived on the same floor as my apartment building. What's happening in Minnesota is that people think it's just a great state, it's wonderful, and we have got lots of benefits. Most people don't know we have the worst racial inequality in the entire country. The financial gap between blacks and whites is higher in Minnesota than Mississippi, than Florida, than any other place in the United States. And a large part of that is because people of color don't have any power, they don't have any economic opportunities. And so that's why I show up at the Capitol. That's why I work on bills. A few sessions ago, session is like the political process for writing laws. A few sessions ago, I went to the state and I actually lobbied for them to take direct resources and hand them back to communities of color. We were actually able to move over $32 million out of the hands of like white legislators into communities of color. Thank you.
Wanda, don't be offended, Wanda.
Wanda, you want to comment?
Okay.
Man, I'm all about people doing something and not whining, so I'm happy, man. Take action. Do what you got to do. Own your own business, and then you can't blame anybody else, right?
I think you can definitely blame the system of white supremacy because it is long term. But I do believe there is a layer of self-accountability. So I think it's two-pronged.
Yeah.
I think it's like, yes, we can say, like, oh, just do it yourself. Like, someone would have done it by now if that were true. Like, there wouldn't only be just a few success stories.
Yeah.
So I think it's two-pronged. It's about identifying the problem, talking about it, sharing it, but then also going out and fixing it. I show up every day in my community, supporting small businesses. I show up at the Capitol. I show up on Election Day. And if I can do it, everyone can do it.
There you go.
So,
Wintana Melekin. Give out your social media and spell it out slowly.
Yeah.
I want all the citizens to hit her up.
I'm definitely going to follow you.
Thank you.
What is your social media?
I talk about Beyonce a lot. I'm just gonna let you know. I'm woke, but I talk about a lot of Beyonce.
Well, you could be woke and talk about Beyonce.
Facts.
Beyonce
Facts.
woke too.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys hear 2 days ago in Minnesota it was Beyonce Day, which was also a policy I lobbied for. Yes.
I see you hard at work out here.
We
huh?
like to party.
Okay.
So my social media is Wintana MN, WINTANA So follow me on social
Spell
media.
it again. Spell it again.
Will do. WINTANA So Wintana MN, Minnesota. So yeah, follow me. Also check out wokemoneymn.com. It's a site right now. We're working on getting it, up and running and more established. There's only a couple businesses on there, but my plan is to really launch it up and take it to scale. And so yeah, follow me on all my social media.
Thank you very kindly. Give this young lady a round of applause. She out here doing work. She's out here doing work.
Yeah.
She's out here doing work.
I love
Wintana.
it.